Guys, fighters, what do they all have in common? They might be the sweetest people on earth when you talk to them, but they are absolute killers when they go inside of the cage. However, sometimes the beef of the fighters can split outside of the ring. What happened last week or this week is something that I don't like. I don't like fighters tracking down other fighters and sucker punching them in a public. For those who don't know, Jorge Masvidal, Colby Covington went out for dinner in Miami with Nelk Boys. They were just tweeting about it, they're like, hey, we are having a great dinner with Colby Chaos Covington, discussing some business, blah, blah, blah. Jorge Masvidal saw the tweet, saw the place where they are at, tracked them down, and jumped Colby Covington, wearing a hoodie and a face mask, making it as a bigger surprise so Colby doesn't see it coming. And this is absolutely disgusting. First of all, I understand if you hate someone, you want to fight him. You have beef, you throw insults at each other all the time. Your history goes all the way back. For those who don't know, Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal were teammates back in the day when they were starting their careers. They called each other best friends, they trained together, they sparred together. And somewhere along the line, they just kind of split, And usually when, you used to be very good friends with someone and you're not seeing them again, like the relationships can go very sour. People are complicated, and especially when a lot of testosterone is included, and especially when you are a fighter, and especially when you are in the same division. So that was basically just a recipe for disaster in the beginning. However, if you have a beef with someone, as the Jorge says it himself, in their job, they can squash that beef inside of the octagon. They can punch each other in the face. And they had a fight. Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington was the main event recently. They fought for 5 rounds. And Jorge had all the chances in the world to punch Colby Covington in the face as many times as he wanted. But the reality of that fight was that Colby dominated Jorge for 5 rounds. In those moments, it shows you what you really stand for, what kind of person you are. Because it doesn't matter how you act in victory. What describes your personality is how you act in defeat. Will you shake someone's hands? Will you acknowledge that you lost fair and square? Or do you stay a petty loser who tracks down the other person just to surprisingly jump him and sucker punch him? That is the lowest of the low. It cannot get worse than that. Especially if the reports are true, which says that Jorge Masvidal put on a hoodie and a face mask so he could sneak in as close as possible and sucker punch Colby so he couldn't see it coming. That is disgusting. That is the lowest of the low. I wasn't a huge fan of either of the fighters. I love to see them fight. Personality-wise, I understand what Colby has going for him. I understand what Jorge does. People say that Colby is just playing a heel, just playing the act, so he gets more pay-per-view points. I understand that part of this business in the trash talking. You should not talk about someone's family, kids, blah blah blah. But you're not only a fighter; you're a professional entertainer. Okay, people watch you. People get inspired by you. Kids watch you. Kids look up to you, and you should behave in a certain way. You especially after you had the chance to fight the guy inside of the octagon and you lost that chance. You lost that fight. You should swallow your ego and you should act like someone that your kids can actually look up to. Because that's not someone that it's just I'm just at loss of words at Jorge Masvidal. He just signed one of the biggest contracts in the UFC history. He should be acting that way. I can see the UFC might use this to make a rematch between them, but in deep inside, I believe that Colby should sue Jorge Masvidal because that was an insanely low blow move. And he should get any penny worth back from him. Guys, this is not what the fight game is about. I understand there has to be trash talk, there has to be beefs, but there also needs to be some class act. You know, we need those George St. Pierre's, we need those Khabibs, we need someone who acknowledges the other fighters, who is just classy, you know. Even though the George Best trash talk line was like, I'm disappointed with your performance, you know. I understand, people like more trash talk, more entertaining, but regardless of the trash talk, you should never have to track someone down. Track someone down. It's different when you meet randomly and emotions gets better of you. But to track someone down, disguise yourself and sucker punch them, that's a move of a low-life criminal. And I understand that people say like, hey, don't talk about someone's kids, which is very true. But you should also act as someone that some people actually look up to. Because you're not only a fighter, you are also an entertainer and inspiration to a lot of people. And you should behave that way. What do you guys think? Was the action that Jorge did something that he should have done a long time ago? That he was, you know, supposed to do it, even though because he said it? Or was it just something not acceptable? I think it's absolutely disgusting, but you tell me, what do you think about it? And what do you think how it's going to end in the court? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.